Everything's destroyed. There's no food, no water. Simba, if you don't do something soon, everyone will starve.
It's safe to say that all of us grew up watching Disney movies. The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, The Lion King, Moana, and many, many other movies that we've seen millions of times. But sometimes it's really hard to recognize some small details. But don't worry, we've spotted quite a few impressive ones. So grab your popcorn and enjoy.
I can't make anybody fall in love with anybody else. Mwah! You little punum there.
Probably we all remember Aladdin, that poor guy with the monkey Abu, who found a magical lamp and fell in love with the princess of a fictional Arab city. However, there are so many interesting and hidden details that you might not have noticed when you were a kid. The first thing that even adults probably haven't even noticed is the fact that the two families of this movie appeared in Aladdin's story as characters. There is a scene in the movie when Jasmine's suitors arrive at the palace and Aladdin was surrounded by the two characters that were standing to the left and right of Aladdin. So Ron Clements, who is standing left, and John Musker literally put themselves into Aladdin. Did you know this? Another interesting thing that not many fans have caught so far was the fact that Mickey Mouse was hiding inside Jasmine's tiger, Raja. We also spied Mickey at the very end of the film after Jafar had been defeated. All of his spells were ruined and Raja's turned back from a cub into a full-grown adult tiger. If you take a closer look or even pause for a moment, you'll notice that during the transformation, you'll see his face turns into that of Mickey Mouse for a few frames. Alright, mostly you'll just see the Mickey Mouse ears, but it's still a thing that not everyone has noticed watching this cult movie.
Oh, wise Sultan, how may I serve you?
No matter how many times you've watched Aladdin, we're pretty sure you don't remember the moment when the guy was trying to sell a hookah, claiming it was a French fry maker. This happened at the very beginning of the movie when we just meet the narrator. The narrator appeared to be the guy who's selling the stuff from his little storefront, and he holds up a hookah, claiming that it's a French fry maker. It's really strange that he's trying to make people believe that this is a French fry maker, as we all know the way it looks. Anyways, it was probably his marketing move to make us all confused for that reason. The hookah is something that adults will only notice, but here we also have an adult phrase, and many fans think it was just a joke that slipped and went unnoticed by Disney. If you're trying to rewatch Aladdin as an adult, the scene where Aladdin supposedly says, "Good teenagers, take off your clothes," must have confused you a little.
Tell her the truth. No way.
There's a huge discussion regarding this phrase, as it is really difficult to hear exactly what he says, and there are a few variants. But first, let us remind you when exactly this happened. It happened when Aladdin was riding the magic carpet up to Jasmine's room, and when he stepped onto the balcony and Raja appeared to make Aladdin scared. However, he shooed him away. Jasmine came out of her room and was surprised that Aladdin was there. According to Disney, the scripted line was supposed to be, "Good kitty, take off and go." However, one Disney representative claimed the line was, "Come on, good kitty, take off and go," while the closed captioning had him uttering, "Good kitty, take off." But if you watch this scene carefully once again, you'll realize that neither one of those phrases seem to match what is heard in the movie. When you do a close listening, you can hear Aladdin say, "Come on, good kitty," and just as Aladdin said the word kitty, a second voice began to whisper, "Psst, take off your clothes." Who this second voice was and exactly what he said is a mystery, and many fans think it was just a joke that accidentally slipped into the movie without Disney even noticing.
My son is awake.
Before sunrise, he's your son.
The next cult movie that you probably have seen at least a dozen times with your family is The Lion King. But you'll probably agree when you watch something just to relax, even not for the first time, you'll definitely miss out on the details that are perfectly hidden by notoriously sneaky and clever animators and filmmakers. Let's start with the thing that was hidden in plain sight, the Nazi parade. Maybe when you were a little kid, you didn't think much about history, but there is a clear German Nazi army reference in The Lion King. you'll 100% remember Mufasa's evil brother Scar, who wanted to be the king and gathered an army of hyenas around him. While doing it, the song he was singing is called Be Prepared. In the song, we see the hyenas marching past Scar in military formation as they salute him. Kinda reminds you of Hitler's regime, right? Absolutely, and it gives a strong World War II vibe if you've ever been interested in history. You might even recognize the recreation of the infamous Cathedral of Light, which was a famous aesthetic feature of the party rallies in Nuremberg during the Second World War, designed to inspire fear and awe.
You know, kid, in times like this, my buddy Timon here says you gotta put your behind in your past.
Moving to the next detail you probably missed, did you notice the way that Simba was eating bugs when he met Pumbaa and Timon? With his pinky up. It's actually a reference to the fact that Simba is royal, and this is a reference to his background and manners due to his father being the king of the jungle. The next thing is really confusing is no matter how the storyline of Simba and Nala is, the problem is that they're siblings.
Please.
It's alright with me.
Yeah.
As long as Zazu goes with you.
No, not Zazu.
If you know at least something about lions, you probably know that this is how the Lion's Parade works. One lion and many lionesses. Even though Simba and Nala have different mothers, Mufasa is the father of both of them, meaning they're half siblings. But an even more weird and confusing thing that only adults will notice is the SEX scene. Remember the moment when Simba and Nala are looking at the skies, laying on the edge of a cliff? The dust of flowers spelled out sex. It does look like this word, even though Disney claimed it was just a misunderstanding and the letters that we all should have seen were SFX. Well, according to Disney, it's a nod to the special effects team. Anyways, it kind of sounds like the lamest of cover-up excuses, and it kind of sounds like the saying, "It was like that when I found it." And it's obvious that the fans aren't buying it, Disney.
Oh, that's never happened to me. I mean, not even once.
Ralph Breaks the Internet is a movie that features all references and characters that only exist in this world, from all Disney princesses to the Star Wars universe. But did you know that it was the first Disney movie to feature Pixar characters? Back in the 2000s, Disney and Pixar were competitive studios, but since their relationship has gotten a lot closer, and sometimes it's difficult to understand which one is Disney movies and which one is Pixar's. Remember the moment where Miranda was trying to sell something to the princesses and no one really understood a word she was saying? It was a reference as they called her out for being from the other studio. Not just that, but Buzz Lightyear actually made a brief cameo before the said scene.
Hey, easy there.
Oh, I mean, no offense or anything.
Marking the first time in the Disney canon where Pixar characters have been featured in a Disney film. It's safe to say that Ralph Breaks the Internet is a marketing genius. Why? Well, first off, the story is super cool, and the fact that Disney added so many characters from different universes adds viewers. Plus, the internet backdrop effectively allows them to sell out space for in-film ads that both make sense and act as a realistic interpretation of the internet. Speaking of the interpretation of the internet, it was a really smart move of Disney to merchandise the whole internet. Moreover, they showed a considerable amount of tact doing it. If you're watching the movie carefully, you may have noticed that every name drop makes perfect sense, and the only prominent real-life fixture in the movie is eBay. This is a surprising tactful approach from Disney, as you can see that the screenwriters decided to choose their own website for the entire thing instead of using YouTube or any other platform like it.
So this big galoot, he left his wallet at home?
Yeah.
Many fans have noticed that, and it made them think that the story very much has a sincere heart. The next thing we need to admire is that the marketing for the whole movie was kind of aggressive, and even months before the movie hit theaters, the whole world knew that the movie would feature all the canon Disney princesses in a single scene. Moreover, it's pretty clear that the main character, Vanellope, would be the one who doesn't really fit with the entire princess vibe. Of course, the princess cameos were the first thing that the fans focused on the most, and there was no way that someone could miss the real cameo, Prince Naveen. You must remember this frog from Princess and the Frog, and this is the frog that she uses at the end of the movie to kiss Ralph at the end of the princess action scene.
Well, I stood up for you, and you lied to me. You liar!
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
Zootopia is filled with so many interesting details and hidden gems, and of course, as always, it features 1 million references to other Disney movies. For example, did you notice that Meryl Lionheart has Mufasa vibes? If you take a closer look, you'll realize that he even kind of looks like Mufasa. Just compare 2 pictures and you'll see. Of course, the animation's absolutely different as The Lion King was released in '94 and ZOOTROPOLIS in 2016, but we're pretty sure that the Meryl Lionheart was inspired by the beloved classic.
Well, yes, I did. It was a classic doing the wrong thing for the right reason kind of a deal.
Still don't see the similarities between them? First off, both lions are leaders. They are brave, and when you look at them, you feel nothing but respect. Another Disney reference was Tundra Town, which looked exactly like the Kingdom of Arendelle from Frozen. Moreover, in one of the scenes, you can also notice the 2 little elephants in Anna and Elsa's costumes walking with their mother. Very interesting. Here is another hidden gem, but it has nothing to do with Disney. It is connected with a way mature movie. Let's say a movie for adults, mostly.
It's Weaselton, Duke Weaselton, and I ain't talking rabbit, and ain't nothing you can do to make me.
Have you already guessed what we're talking about? If yes, write the name of the film in the comment section down below. So remember how it was difficult at first to understand who the bad guy was in Zootopia, and then it turned out that the thing was in the sheep? The moment when the sheep were working on a blue serum that turned animals wild was a clear reference to Breaking Bad. Yeah, that's kind of weird to see the reference to this movie in a film for kids, but seeing sheep do something like this is not a common thing either.
What are you doing?
They were just asking about the family and...
She was about to tell us about her super awesome gift!
ENCANTO is another super successful and iconic Disney movie that is literally filled with hidden Easter eggs. The first thing that is not really easy to notice if you don't know where to look is the fact that all the Madrigal's costumes reflect their gifts. It's incredible how detailed the characters' costumes are, as they all have their own motifs, jewelry, symbols, and imagery.
Our angel! Our angel!
Please don't clap.
Thank you.
Oh, it's nothing.
Did you notice the flowers on Isabella's dress? Señorita Perfecta's gown represents her ability to conjure beautiful flowers and pans. Pepe has sunshine earrings, and they're all about her gift, which allows her to control the weather via her emotions. Dolores, who has enhanced hearing, has the sound waves on her outfit. Speaking of appearance and important details connected with it, Mirabelle is actually the only girl in the entire Disney universe who wears glasses.
And then, boom! It will happen.
We don't talk about Bruno! What if you didn't understand what he saw?
Have you ever wondered why? The filmmakers never replied to this question, but the fans assume that the glasses have their hidden meaning. They're a symbol of the non-magical side of Mirabelle's family. Some other fans also think that the glasses are showing Mira's personality and kind of warn everyone that she analyzes everything in life in a different way than her family. Do you have your own theories? If yes, let us know.
Let her go.
Not a chance, Triton. She's mine now. We made a deal.
Literally every girl wants to find her prince, and Ariel from The Little Mermaid did everything she could to meet her prince. You probably remember that she exchanged her beautiful voice for a pair of legs when the evil Ursula showed up with this idea. And everything could have ended up really badly, but after various obstacles, Ariel eventually found her happily ever after. The movie is amazing, but did you know who the actual inspiration for the characters' looks were? You probably won't believe this, but Alyssa Milano, who was only 16 at the time and hosted the making of the special on Disney Channel, was the one who inspired Ariel's appearance. But she wasn't the only one. The model comedian Sherry Stoner, who provided the live-action references for the animators during the development of the film, was also an inspiration. So basically, Ariel's a mix of Alyssa Milano and Sherry Stoner. Do you think that Ariel really has something in common with these two women? Let us know in the comment section down below.
It's time Ursula took matters into her own tentacles. Titans,
daughter will be mine.
The famous villain, Vicious Ursula, who tricked the Little Mermaid and wanted to steal her voice, was inspired by a famous drag queen and actress, Divine. When you compare the pictures of these two, you can really say that they look almost similar. Unfortunately, Divine died a year before the movie was released and never got to see the character come to life. Speaking of Ursula, many people think that she's an octopus, but she's not. Ursula is actually a mythical human-octopus hybrid. If you were attentive enough, you've probably noticed that the character doesn't even have 8 tentacles, as she has 6 of them and 2 human arms.
You see? The contract's legal, binding, and completely unbreakable, even for you.
Interestingly, animating 2 more tentacles would have cost the studio extra money. Probably writing in English would have cost the studio money as well, as the contract that Ariel had to sign when she got the deal with Ursula was to have only 1 line in English. The rest is written in gibberish. Just take a closer look at this one. I hereby grant onto Ursula, Witch of the Sea, and then you can't just read after that. Well, probably it was Ariel's mistake that she signed the contract that didn't even make any sense because the artist wasn't paid enough money to write in English, or were just lazy when they wrote out the words for Ariel's contract. Well, at least at the very end of the contract you can read for all eternity. Nicely done though. Let's come back to the very beginning of the movie. It's safe to say that no one is really attentive to very small details when the movie just starts, because we all want to understand what's going to happen, so we're focused on the plot more.
You're the one.
Eric, get away from her!
It was you all the time.
Oh, Eric, I wanted to tell you.
It seems like the filmmakers didn't miss their chance to use this moment and added some interesting guests to the world of the sea. In the scene where Titan's daughters are getting ready for the concert, we can see a few special guests if you look closely when Triton appears. Just put this scene on pause and follow us to these guys. Mickey Mouse to the lower left, Donald Duck to the lower left, Goofy to the lower left, someone wearing Mickey Mouse ears to the lower right, someone with the Mickey Mouse balloon, Kermit the Frog, and Walt Disney himself. Who exactly? A balding man in a brown suit. Have you found them all? Let us know in the comment section, and if you can, help the other viewers to find the other 3 details that we just listed. A Mickey Mouse balloon, Kermit the Frog, and Walt Disney.
Wait a minute, you don't think I meant to knock Buzz out the window, do you, Potato Head?
Toy Story fans may think that they know everything about their favorite movie, but we have to admit that there are a lot more interesting things and details that you may even expect. We got used to the fact that most of Disney's Easter eggs are connected to other Disney movies or just fun and kids friendly, but did you notice that there was at least one reference that only horror movie fans noticed? There's a nod to The Shining in Sid's house. To be more precise, we're talking about the carpet in his room. Many fans think that the meaning behind this carpet is pretty important. The filmmakers made this reference to show how Sid behaves and treats the other toys.
So play nice.
Of course, this carpet isn't something that'll make you smile when you know where it comes from, but it's a nice way to pay attention to Sid's behavior. If you find a connection between Sid and the carpet, of course. Another really huge and interesting Easter egg is hiding in the scenes of Al's toy barn. Since Toy Story was produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released by Walt Disney Pictures, no wonder it has some Pixar movie references. It was a really nice scene when Buzz was wandering around looking at the other toys, and the biggest scene of the Barbie tour probably distracted you from a really great Easter egg. So Buzz continued running through the store, and not everyone can notice that he actually passed by several Pixar movie characters. For example, Flick and Dim from A Bug's Life both were showcased hanging there. We're pretty sure many Pixar fans noticed that. But let's talk about the less obvious hidden details. Let's say about the books in Andy's room. Many animated films don't really have a detailed background when it comes to book spines or posters.
I mean, Humpty Dumpty was pushed by Woody.
What?
But we're the lucky ones, as in the Toy Story movie, the animators did a really great thing by making Andy's bookshelf titles possible to read. Of course, not everyone will notice the titles when Woody walks by the shelf, but if you put it on pause, you can get a close-up look at the made-up books like Feet First, Pale Cowboy from Texas, and Help the Planet, alongside a copy of Grimm's fairy tales. But did you know that the Grimm fairy tales actually inspired many Disney stories? But not only the book that inspired Disney was seen on the shelf, but some books that are actually references to Pixar's animated shorts were also seen. The Adventures of Andre and Wally B, Red's Dream, Tin Toy, and Knick Knack, all of these books made huge sense to Pixar, and they probably decided to give them credit.
I found the guards! Where's Ryder? Where is he?
You'll definitely need to pause some Disney movies to find at least a few hidden gems when you talk about Tangled. You really need to watch it a dozen times to catch all of the Easter eggs it's filled with. Let's talk about the Mother Gothel who wanted the power of the magic golden flower to stay young and beautiful forever. And let's admit she's a pretty old woman. But did you know that you could calculate her age with the help of her dress? Yeah, the truth is in the dress, and if you look closely at it, you'll notice it's a very different style than Rapunzel's. That's because it is made in the style of the Renaissance era. So let's do the math. Since she's been alive since at least the Renaissance, which is the 1300s, and the events in Tangled is supposed to take place around the late 1700s, this lady's been around for over 400 years. No wonder she turned to dust when Rapunzel's hair was cut, right?
Now it's hidden where you'll never find it. So, what do you want with my hair?
Speaking of hair, Disney didn't really tell us, but Rapunzel's hair was a heavy burden. Of course, long golden hair looks stunning and beautiful, and so on, but did you know that it is quite heavy, especially when the hair is thick? So, can you imagine how poor Rapunzel felt with the massive amounts of hair? And now you'll be even more shocked, or maybe just surprised, because according to Disney, Rapunzel's hair weighs 10.4 pounds. Can you imagine that? Well, we can only imagine that her neck was probably hurt all the time. No wonder Rapunzel felt so much better when Eugene cut her hair. Another really interesting thing is that Rapunzel managed to stay in a good state of mind even after spending all of those years alone. The girl was actually locked up in a tower for 18 years and didn't have anyone to talk to. It's incredible that she even knew how to interact with other people after such a long hiatus, but of course we all understand it's just a fairy tale, and it's obvious that Disney wouldn't feature the moments Rapunzel was all messed up. Plus, it's also really incredible that Rapunzel got the courage to leave the tower at all, considering the way that the mother manipulated her. Of course, not many fans notice these tiny physique details, but Disney, we've got questions. Did Rapunzel have a secret amazing therapist?
I know what
Rapunzel.
Oh, come on!
Enough of the lights, Rapunzel! You are not leaving this tower!
Another thing that doesn't really make sense is how on earth did a 400-year-old woman who is basically portrayed as clever and smart, yeah, we're talking about the mother again, ended up doing stupid things just to stay young forever. It's kinda stupid for her to steal the child and raise it as her own because Rapunzel isn't immortal. Will she perish one day, and what'll happen to her? We need to admit that maybe the plan to keep the girl isolated from everyone else kind of made sense, but it doesn't benefit her ultimately. Well, who knows, maybe Rapunzel's actually immortal and we'll witness a very interesting plot twist one day. Okay, let's focus on some other really weird details after Rapunzel left her tower. Did you actually realize that the first friends she made were a group of ruffians and thugs? This girl probably was such a big authority she ended up hanging out with these guys, and they even saved both Rapunzel and Eugene when they needed help. But should we remind you that these guys are really bad ones? One of them pretty much did everything and blatantly said he ended someone, the one with the hook. Another looks super rough, and we know that they're criminals and they harm people. Even though the moment when they sing Rapunzel shows that they are softies deep inside, and it's still kind of weird that they're Rapunzel's friends. It would be more harmonious if her new friends were animals, birds, kids, but not criminals.
You are not my hero, and I'm not here
so you can sign my oar. I'm here because you stole the heart of Te Fiti.
The last but not least an important movie we want to discuss with you today is Moana, and as you can guess, this one is filled with the coolest hidden gems. No need to say again that all Disney movies have references to other Disney movies, even the old ones, and they probably do it just to keep us addicted to their films and stories. Anyways, there are so many references to The Little Mermaid for some reason, and we bet you noticed a few yourself. The first thing that we caught was Moana's necklace, which basically looks like Ursula. Do you need a closer look to see? Moana and the villain Ursula both wear necklaces that come from the sea. They're magical and seem to be made from seashells. The second thing is a joke that Tamatoa makes about Sebastian the crab. If you've always waited till the end of the credits, you'll probably remember that at the very end, Tamatoa is lying in his shell and struggling to get back up. He then turns to the camera and says, "Can we be real? If my name was Sebastian and I had a cool Jamaican accent, you'd totally help me." Okay, probably many of us would agree with that, right? And here's another Little Mermaid reference during the performance of You're Welcome.
You know, it'd be rude to refuse a gift from a goddess.
You definitely remember that there were so many fish seen, and among them, there was no way you didn't notice one of Disney's most popular and fan favorite fish. Flounder. We spied him swimming along with the other fish and dancing along to the song. This one wasn't very discreet and includes his exact colors and body shape. Of course, there are so many different references besides The Little Mermaid. Now let's talk about the references from Aladdin. The first and most obvious one was the one that definitely is the magic carpet. Almost at the very beginning of the movie, we can see Moana singing How Far I'll Go, and while her performance, she is walking around her island. In one of the scenes, she passes by the people laying out a carpet that looks exactly like the magical carpet from Aladdin. Of course, the ones we see in Moana has a different color, but it does have the exact same patterns. Even though the carpet from Moana is not magical and has no personality, the movie features another character that acts just like the carpet in Aladdin.
Wow! The shiny, glittery cave! And just like me, it is covered in sparkly treasure.
Did you already guess who we're talking about? Right, we're talking about the ocean. If you'll take a closer look at him, you'll notice the similarities. Maybe it's their magical abilities or their hilarious personalities, but these two characters couldn't be more alike. We agree that this Easter egg wasn't really huge or significant, but here is another little cute detail from the Aladdin movie. We saw the well and known and beloved genie lamp in one of the scenes as Tamatoa is crazy about collecting a lot of gold over the years. However, it's difficult to find the lamp in the movie, but when you do, you'll be pretty excited. It makes sense as to why Tamatoa would want the genie's lamp in his collection, and for Disney to have the great idea to hide it on his shell is pretty amazing. Is there any specific Disney movie you want us to talk about in the next video? Let us know in the comments section below.
I am Moana of Motunui. You will board my boat. Sail